Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I'm back for our stitch along, and I want to do a bit of an experiment building on yesterday's raised cup stitch. I was wondering how it would look if you continued to go through the base threads rather than building up and catching the other threads. And I also wanted to have a go at doing it at a larger scale, so I thought we could have an experiment together. Now, if this really doesn't work, you won't end up seeing the video, but if you're seeing the video, then I will have thought that it has worked sufficiently to share the video with you. So I'm going to create the triangle as we did yesterday to be my base thread. Hope you're all having a great day or a great evening. Okay, so I'm going to pop up as I did yesterday, and we'll do our first round as we did yesterday by passing my needle underneath, passing the thread over and under the needle, pulling through, pulling up, and then doing the same. So if you haven't watched yesterday's video, definitely watch that because I talk through it at a slower pace. But today I'll just see how it goes, doing it the way that my brain was just thinking, oh, I wonder what that would work like. So now I've done my 2 little knots on each side of the triangle. Then I'm going to come over, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to do a knot at this end, a knot in the middle between the 2 knots, and a knot at this other end is what my brain was wanting to have an experiment with. So I'm going to, so what I've done here is taken my needle underneath the base, underneath that additional thread and layer built on top. So I'm still going underneath the original base thread here, and at the side of the corner to the right of where my first knot is. I'm going to do the same wrap. And then I'm going to come over and go and do pass my needle under between my first 2 knots, but still under that base thread rather than going between the thread that joins those first 2 knots, and pulling through so that my knot forms between those first 2. And then I'm going to bring my needle underneath and underneath the base thread of the first side of the triangle. I'm getting 3 knots that I'm creating in this second layer on that first line, 1 to either side of each of the knots and 1 in between. Going to do the same at this side, so pass my needle under the base thread and under the other thread that joins them. Do my knot, so this is to the right of the first of the knots on this side. I'm then going to go between the 2 knots but under the original base thread and do the wrap. And then I'm going to come over at the end of that base thread, pass underneath that base thread and do my knot. So now I've got my 3 knots on that side, and then for the final side I will do the same. So come underneath that base thread, pull through, put the knot in, come in between those 2 knots underneath the base thread, and put the knot in, and finally come underneath the base thread, do the wrap and pull through and put the knot in. So, and then I think I'm happy actually with, no, I'll come over and do as they did in the first one. I'll come and put one final knot in on the first side, which I think might just sort of fill up the circle nicely, and then I'll take my thread over and to the back. So I'm definitely glad I gave that one a go, because I love that it's much more open, particularly when you're using a thicker thread. It's given me a really lovely open cup. So that one again would be useful for applications where you want a flower with a bigger center that you can actually fill in. So I'm not sure I can call that raised cup, but I am. I'm calling it my variation on raised cup. It will be interesting to see if I find a stitch where that is actually done, or who knows, maybe I've created the Christine raised cup there. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. I'll include that as a video, I think, because hopefully it might be something that you also want to try as a raised cup variation. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check out yesterday's video because there was a extra little something special at the end of it that I don't want anyone who is a regular watcher of these videos to miss. So thanks so much, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye everyone.